We are live, baby. But we are also on tape. We are deeper down in the bowels of this music. It's episode 87 of Kamloops Last Week. Christopher Folds, Greg the engineer, Bennett, and Bill at the controls. No Magic Mike today?
Magic Mike is down in Anaheim with his crew from Lee's Music at a big trade show.
A lot of Anaheim feel to today's show. Greg's a Ducks fan. Olen Zellweger, the Kamloops Blazers, will be on our show. He's signed by the
Ducks.
Anaheim Ducks. Great show today. First of all, 87. Anything?
87. I just think about the great Sidney Crosby. One of the greatest players of all time. Probably the second best player in the league still.
Where were you for the golden goal?
Golden goal? I was at a pub.
Abbey?
No, I was in a buddy's place in Abbotsford watching, the golden goal. I'm thinking of 2002. Never mind, I'm getting old. The golden
2010.
goal. I was at home. I was home in Kamloops watching it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We also
against Ryan Miller.
Yeah, Ryan Miller. Iginla with the pass.
That's right. Iginla with the pass. That's right.
Iggy. Passed it over. Tina Lange, and you lost your mind on me at the office this week.
Well, some of us are history buffs, and Marty doesn't like history. So I said, well, let's bring in Tina Lange. I was saying this actually last week, and I called her, and of course I left the wrong number on the wrong message. But I like history. I read a lot of history. If you don't learn from history, you're bound to repeat your mistakes, and that's your life. So I did a feature story a few weeks ago. I thought it was pretty interesting, and it was because I talked to the whole Plaza Hotel's for sale. It's a very iconic, nearly 100-year-old hotel downtown. She used to co-own it. It's for sale now. She used to co-own it. So I called her to say, hey, it's more than just the sale. What's it like? And she went on and on about how cool this hotel is, and
maybe haunted.
Might be haunted. Just the neat quirks there, and we had a good long interview. I did a story in the paper. Got a lot of feedback. Of course, not from you because you're not in history. And I thought it'd be great to have Tina on to talk about the history of the hotel, and also as a former longtime councillor, ask her maybe about what she thinks of the shenanigans down at City Hall. There's probably a ghost
down there. She's going to be a
right
great guest. I'm excited to have her on.
Yes, I'm glad you are.
What happened was I came in and I said, what's going on in city news? Because I've been busy with sports, and I walk in, you list off all these things, and the mayor and David McMillan, and I'm like, okay, well, who do you want on? You say, Tina Lange.
Yeah.
I said, well, is that timely was my only thing.
Well, if we don't have her on now, we could put her off. We're never going to have her on. By the time we get her on, the ghost is going to die at the plaza. So let's get her on. And it's good to have a little bit of levity with all the seriousness here. We have a couple of Blazers, and that's a serious playoff push. Having Tina Lange on here is a good break. When do we have Reed on next?
Next week.
There you go. So it's a good break before we get back to the City Hall news.
And before people start ripping us for everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of ripping, the David McMillan files. What's the latest there? I think
David McMillan is Mayor Reed Hamer-Jackson's personal lawyer, and he's an interesting guy. I spoke to him on the phone. He sent a letter to the newspaper because he, of course, thinks that his client is being treated unfairly at council over various issues. The last one was about an in-camera meeting. It gets complicated. The point is, I put the letter in the paper to say, hey, he has a right to write a letter to the editor. It's online. It's in the paper. At the end, I have a little editor's note saying, hey, by the way, this guy is Reed's lawyer, so just so you know, he's coming from a certain side. And some people think we shouldn't be running his letter. I say, well, everyone's entitled to have their letter in the paper and online. He wrote a similar letter, longer letter, to CFJC TV a few weeks ago over matters involving Reed, and of course they put the disclaimer there too. And it's all fair. He's his lawyer who really goes to bat for his client, and he's like some people. He thinks that the mayor is being wronged, where a lot of people think it's the mayor's the one causing the problems.
What do you think about the mayor and his lawyer asking for council to back up their claims?
So Katie Newstater, at March 17th press conference, announced that, among other things, the mayor has belittled them and has crossed personal and professional boundaries. And then I asked Michael, our reporter there, I said, ask follow-up questions. Well, explain. You make a serious accusation. And I think the response was, well, we can't talk about it. One of the councillors said, we can't talk about it because his comments, his alleged belittling comments and conduct came from an in-camera meeting, and which is a bullshit argument, because I said it's like a bail hearing in court. You can't report on the evidence, but you can report on what people say as long as what they say doesn't pertain to the evidence of a bail hearing. So in this case, if the mayor said something untoward at a councillor, and that was what they're referring to, nothing prevents councillors from saying, yeah, the mayor called me an asshole, because that doesn't pertain to the land thing they're talking about or whatever, you know what I mean? So the argument that they can't say what it is a weak argument. I think...
Are there other reasons, though, why they, that argument aside, why they might not want to?
Well, I don't know what specifically they are, but if
might
you're
not be able to or can't for legal reasons.
No, there's no legal. If you're going to stand there and say the mayor has belittled us and the mayor has crossed professional boundaries, but you're not going to detail what they are, to me that's, you should, if you're going to say anything at a public press conference about the alleged activity of anybody, you should stand there first of all and take questions from the media, and you should explain what you mean. I can't just say, yeah, Marty's belittled me and he's bullied me, and then if someone says, well, what do you mean? Well, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. That's not fair to you. I've just indicted you publicly without a fair trial. So I can see why he's choked. We hear things behind the scenes, a lot of stuff, and I'm sure that the mayor said some things that have people taken the wrong way. We've hung out with him. We went out on the streets with him. I've spoken to him off the record many times. I can see where he might say stuff that rub people the wrong way.
Well, we don't know. I mean, it could be worse than that. We don't know. It could be worse than just them feeling spurned
and that's what I mean.
Things. We don't know.
But by making a statement and saying the mayor has done this and not getting the detail, you leave it up to rumor and innuendo, and then no one knows what's going on. So I think you either don't say that at all at a press conference, or if you do say it, you have to back it up. And I think the lawyer's right. You have to back it up and say, here's what I think he said. Otherwise, what's the point of it?
Switching gears a little bit, you wrote a column and you said there, in your opinion, there's some kind of posturing going on. Council could have...
Not posturing. I said it's strategy. I think it's strategy, and I think it's smart strategy on councillors' part. See, it's all about the standing committees and the mayor appointing his people he knew, his friends, his campaign volunteers, people who donated to his campaign, appointing them to the committees, taking some councillors off as chairs. It pissed off council, and I think rightly so. So what they did is they voted to pause the committees, create a new committee to talk about how those standing committees are run. It gets very complicated. What I'm saying in the column is council could easily just have said, we're all going to resign from the standing committees, so then they don't exist anymore under the community charter. When we're going to start select committees, which is just another committee, looking at the same issues, freeze out the mayor and just carry on with the city's business. They could have done that 2 months ago. But I think what they're doing now is they're trying to say, look, we're going to try to work with the mayor. They appointed him to this new committee to talk about the terms of reference. And I think what they're doing is they're going to go as far as they can to say, until they can't anymore. And they might say, okay, fuck, we can't do this anymore because it just doesn't work. The first meeting was a disaster. We're gonna resign from the standing committees. We're gonna start our own committees, and we're gonna get the business of the city done, and the mayor's on the sidelines. But I think if they go long enough and try, they can say to the public, we tried. We didn't automatically do it. We tried, and you can't accuse us of not trying, but it's untenable. We can't work with this guy. You've seen it in the meetings. And I think it may not happen like that. In July, they're supposed to wrap up this select committee thing. But I think that might happen because it's showing that they just can't work together.
Have you had any conversations that suggest maybe there is some healing going on, or have you heard anything? There's some kind of hope for this.
I haven't heard
council.
No, I haven't heard anything about healing, and I haven't spoken to any councillors recently. The last one was, I think, about 8 days ago.
Yeah.
And I think it's as mixed up as it ever has been.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, Mike and I and you, Mike's not here, but we were busy. I mean, as we always are, every single weekend.
Yeah, super busy.
Yeah, we had one thing that really stood out about last weekend.
Oh yeah, that's right. We had they had the strongman competition down at Kamloops Powell Arbor.
Right. Mike entered it.
Mike entered it, and the pictures actually are in today's newspaper in the sports page.
We all got in our Volkswagen and
we went to the Volkswagen and we stopped at McDonald's because you need the caffeine to get you pumped up.
Well,
as we're cheering, and it's for Mike because he's actually there lifting.
Well, I bought 7 chicken Big Macs 6 to eat and 1 to throw at Mike when he was up there. And that he actually slipped and his weight fell on him. So that's why he's not here.
Well, the funny thing is at the strongman competitions, they lift these huge rocks and boulders, and they lift these like sort of makeshift, barbells. And Mike went in there and he had a River Song guitar.
He did.
And he's like doing this, like it's easy. And we're like, Mike, that's not what it's supposed to be.
And then he lost, right?
Yeah.
And he was pissed at the judges, so he took like honky tonk, man. He took his guitar and smashed. But luckily, what happened was this judge had a pillow and a mattress from Sealy
and
from
a
Gord's
cushion-
Appliance and
cushion
Mattress
to blow.
Center,
They
who,
cushion
by
to
the way,
blow.
their beds right now. You want to go to Gord's and check out their beds right now. Anyway, the judge blocked it, but Mike was disqualified.
He was disqualified, yeah.
And you know what he did instead? Because he was down on his luck, but he thought maybe there's some luck at the Y Dream Home Lottery.
Right, yes. So he drove, and it wasn't that far. You go from the powwow grounds, you go down
Drove in
the Volkswagen, drove onto Highway 5, onto Highway 1, out to Juniper West.
Juniper West, where
Coldwater
the home
Drive
is valued. Tickets are on sale now. I hope they're not sold out already.
The value packs, which is the 5 tickets for the price of 4, is 50% gone already.
It's valued, this home, at $1.3 million, 2197 Coldwater Drive, 2,407 square foot modern mountain home that takes advantage of the most stunning views. And additionally, $224,000 up for grabs in bonus prizes. So get your tickets online, kamloopsylotto.ca.
Plus the 50-50, which could hit $1 million.
There you go. Let's move on now to the Tattle of Hastings. We're going to talk to Caedan Bankier, Olen Zellweger of the Kamloops Blazers. Brought to you by Gord's. Don't want the 9-hour cycle, please! Freaking $500 hydro bill, piece of trash. I need to speak to Gord on the Niner.
Hey, no, I'm actually Steve, the new owner.
First things first, pal. You should probably update your sign. Number 2, my dishwasher is tangled again. The 9-hour cycle, hydro bill through the roof. You guys don't fix appliances, I know that, so I need a new one.
We actually do fix appliances, but if you want, I can try some new ones first and have a look. You got a price in mind?
Money is not an obstacle for me.
Money's definitely an obstacle. He's the cheapest guy in Kamloops. Ain't that right, Darby?
Well, this here is going to be your Cadillac model, top of the line. This is our middle of the road dishwasher, just a great dishwasher at a great price. This is our budget friendly model, still a great dishwasher, just at a bit of a lower price.
Price doesn't work for me. Let's see if you can fix mine at home.
Alrighty then. There you go, seems to be good. How's the fridge working?
The fridge is fine, Gord.
It's Steve.
Oh, we're gone dark. There they are. Olen Zellweger, Caedan Bankier, Anaheim Ducks, Minnesota Wild, Kamloops Blazers, both signed guys. I want to ask you first about this big team dinner I've been hearing about. Signing bonuses everywhere. Has it happened yet?
Yeah, had to pay for it on Monday night there.
It happened?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Bright Eye Brewery.
Wow.
It wasn't too bad, actually, with the 5 of us that got signed a little while ago. So it's good it's out of the way so my bank account doesn't take another hit.
The younger guys can eat there, go to Bright Eye? Or is it just for the older guys? Or is it not 19?
No, it's anyone can go in
Oh.
there.
Yeah, we got everyone in, and there was like a little arcade in the back too. So
Yeah.
had our meal and had some little fun afterwards. So
You did class it up because I had asked you about that before, and you said McDonald's maybe, and then I talked to you about the Chicken Big Mac. Any teammates on you to buy them some dinner at all?
Oh yeah, they're all over us. Me and Ryan all about buying them some dinner right now. So we'll have to think about that. Maybe we get them a couple Big Macs or something. Not too much.
Big Macs. Do you know there's a Chicken Big Mac coming out on March 7th across Canada at all McDonald's? Did you know that? A Chicken Big Mac?
I did not know that. You're just full of information for me right now.
How does that sound? Would you rather have a beef Big Mac or a chicken Big Mac?
It's got to be beef all the way, I would think. Okay. Yeah, they didn't like that idea. I threw it out there again. Didn't like it too much.
Oh, and when you got signed, did you do anything with your signing bonus? Buy someone something special?
No, not really. I've kind of just been saving it and stuff. But I actually didn't pay for the dinner here because I signed when I was with Silvertip, so I actually bought the team Timbits once, so in Everett. So that was my gift.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are roommates since January, I guess?
Yep.
Were you rooming with somebody else before?
Yeah, I was rooming with Drew Englot before he got traded, so kind of flipped rooms and flipped guys at the house.
What's that like? I mean, maybe you were close with Drew and he gets traded. I mean, what's that like to kind of lose a buddy and a teammate?
Yeah, it was funny. So last year when Drew got traded here, I was rooming with Ty Spencer, and it was the same situation. That was harder the first time, but this year it was probably easier because I was adjusted to it. But obviously spending time with Zell at World Juniors, I knew a little bit more of him, so it was a bit of an easier transition for me.
Any quirks, any roommate quirks that you guys can reveal? Something maybe that bothers you about the other guy? Anybody snore? Anybody not do their dishes?
I got nothing really. It's been pretty good at the house there so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty good. The occasional Zell stick handles every once in a while late at night, but he's getting better, so I don't mind it at all.
Just stick handling, just practicing?
Yeah.
Always working. Okay, hockey. Portland Winterhawks. Let's start with you. Just give me your scouting report for the Winterhawks.
Yeah, I think they're a pretty speedy team. Lots of skill on that team. I think I played them a few times this season, and obviously they've been competitive. Really good goaltending. So we're looking forward to the challenge ahead.
I want to ask you about Hazer, because he's got this reputation as kind of a hard-ass coach, or he had in the past. And you are now being coached by Hazer. Logan Barrows told me there's different sides to Hazer that people don't see. I mean, what's his coaching style like been with you?
Yeah, I think it's been a bit of both. Lots of wanting to help me learn how the Blazers play more, and yeah, I think sometimes he's hard on me. He wants me to be fully invested in what he's teaching, and then there's other times where he lets me play my game. He wants me to be offensive and play my style, but there's also times where he wants me to follow the game plan and how he wants me to play. So it's a good adjustment. I really like my time with Don. He's been really good so far.
Caedan, Winterhawks, what stands out to you?
Yeah, I mean, you see those pictures on social media every once in a while of those games back in the day of Game 6 here a couple years ago, and Chris Murray sharing his stories of playing them back when he was a player. So it's pretty exciting to finally be playing against them in the playoffs, and I guess renew the rivalry. But from the games we played this year, they're a fast team. As soon as there's a turnover, they're going the other way. So we got to limit their chances and play that made us successful against Vancouver earlier on.
Have you seen the Rumble video from '94 where the glass comes down between Hazer and the other Portland bench?
No, I don't think I've seen that.
I think it's
Murray's involved with
YouTube,
that.
isn't it?
We have Don Hay and Brett Peterson involved between the benches, and we got a major upheaval now. It's all started now. We've got both benches in with one another.
Just one of those things, a very emotional game, and the benches got a little too close there, and the glass broke and everything broke out. I seen.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. You can check it out. It's like one of the biggest brawls ever. Check it out. You got anything for the guys?
I was wondering, you guys are going to going down to Portland, Veterans Memorial Coliseum. It's a legendary place. It's an old barn. You played in Everett.
Yeah.
How's the atmosphere, the fans? Is it any different than here? Because a lot of people think, it's a Canadian game, but they got some pretty passionate fans down there. Is there any big difference between playing in Kamloops as opposed to in an American city?
Yeah, the fans have been unbelievable here. I think almost every game I've played here has been sold out or close. So the American fans are, I don't know, maybe they're. I think the fans here they know more about the game maybe, and the other ones are just really passionate about the team. So there's a lot of great fans in the U.S., Everett, Seattle, Portland. They're passionate and they support their team a lot. So it's going to be loud in that rink, but it's a nice arena to play in.
Yeah. You guys took care of the Giants. First 3 games were pretty handily, and then they gave you a good battle in Game 4. Have we seen the full force of the Blazers yet, though? I mean, Minton didn't play. Kiefler was out for one of the games. Even you guys are a fairly new team with you coming in and Ryan. I mean, have we seen this team really click on all cylinders yet?
I think there's been glimpses, but I don't think you've seen the full package yet of the team. we have stretches where, it's pretty tough to play against us, and then we'll have times where, sometimes we take our foot off the gas pedal, and I think this series, that's what we're trying to strive for, is just play full 60 minutes through and through, and we're just going to try and be the best versions of ourselves that we can be, and I think when we do that, I don't think there's anyone that can beat us when we're playing the right way.
Back to the crowds for a second. I talked to Mike Johnston the other day, and he said they have home ice advantage. He's talking about you guys. You've had good crowds, good energy in the building, but they feel like they've played well up there this year. And he said, we feel comfortable on their ice surface. We feel comfortable in that building. It's going to be interesting how both teams kind of define their territory to start that series. So what can you do to make Portland uncomfortable on your ice surface in Kamloops? Why don't we start with you?
Yeah, I think, just sticking to our game is the biggest part, and good starts is huge, We'll have a lot of energy from the crowd, the towels and stuff have been going, so we have a lot of energy to start the game, and, kind of put them on their heels early is, I think, really important, in every game, especially when we're on the road, too, so that's going to be big for us.
Caedan, anything on that one?
Yeah, our fans have been great. They're excited even in warm-ups when we get out there. So if we can keep them involved in the game by playing the right way all the way through, I think it's going to be pretty tough for Portland to stick all the way through that. And when we go down there, we're going to try and take their crowd out of it right away with the way we play and being hard on them and trying to get some chances early and trying to make it as quiet in there as possible.
Yeah, momentum is a big thing that came up. Clouston and Don Hay talked to me about it, that Portland, they can kind of quick strike and the game changes. They came back twice against you guys earlier in the season. How do you make sure that they can't strike quickly? How do you make sure they don't get that momentum going?
I think we just got to make sure we don't give them any chances. We don't make some bad turnovers or have some mind lapses in the game, and just kind of keep it behind them so they don't get a chance to build up their speed and rush up the ice against us. And I think if we're able to do that, they won't have much against us, and we'll just probably be hard on them with our, we're a pretty big team, so if we're just hard on them with their physicality, I think it'll be pretty tough on them.
Greg the engineer. This is a huge day for Greg the engineer because he's a huge Ducks fan. He loves the Anaheim Ducks. And he has a question here for Olen Zellweger.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask who on the Ducks are you most excited to play with in the next few seasons?
Yeah, it's tough. Lots of great talent there, so I think it'd be pretty exciting. I'd like to play with Drysdale as a D partner, I think. Obviously there's lots of great forwards, but kind of building a relationship and partner with Drysdale would be pretty cool, I feel like, to play with him.
Thanks, Greg. I noticed Tom Gaglardi was in the room after Game 4 there, congratulating you guys on the series. Did he have a message for you guys? Did he talk to him at all?
Yeah, I just talked to him after the game, just congratulated us on a hard-fought series and was proud of the effort. And it was the first time he had met a lot of the guys since they had been traded, so he was introducing himself to a lot of the team and stuff like that, and he just wanted us to keep it rolling and keep up the good work.
Did you talk to him at all?
Yeah, just briefly introduced myself to him, and yeah, he was just saying it'd be really awesome to win it all and to keep building on what we have started so far.
Have there been any different perks? I know this was, I think it was 2013 or 2012. I was traveling and covering the team on the island, and they were rolling. So instead of eating at Moxie's, Tom splurged for a keg dinner for when the team was on the road. I guess, has there been anything like that yet? any different kind of playoff treatment for the guys?
I guess we're only a couple games in, so maybe we'll get some different ones this series, but I thought we played well enough to get a little bit of some perks, but who knows? I guess we'll see here.
Cool. Anything else?
No, I was thinking beat Portland, you might get to go to Atlas.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah. No, I'm good.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking forward to this series, though. Really looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Oh, one thing, penalty kill. Not the best for the penalty kill in round one. Anything you guys can change that's been pointed out that could be better about the penalty kill?
I think we just gotta, study what Portland's gonna do and be prepared for what they are. And I think we kind of got away from our structure a little bit on the forecheck in that aspect. So we gotta fix that up and make sure we're connected and stay together and limit their chances coming off the rush. It's the same as 5-on-5. We don't want to give them time and space. So we gotta try and do our best to limit that leading into the series here. Line
combinations is another one because you guys it's an embarrassment of riches, and in round one you guys were fantastic and you were missing some guys, but Do you guys know who you're going to play with at this point? I'm not asking you to say who, but do you guys know who you're going to be playing with on the weekend?
I think the forwards and the D are all set. I think we know who the lineup should look like leading into Friday.
And you're happy with the decision, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it's regardless of who you play with. Like you said, we got some pretty talented guys in the depth, so it should be pretty exciting.
Okay. Anything else from you, Greg, the engineer? You good? All right. Final thoughts? Anybody?
Just exciting time for us. Obviously, our team's full talent and we play the right way. So we just gotta be ready for this series and play our game the whole time.
Does it feel a little bit different now? I mean, does it feel like it's ramping up now, like intensity? I mean, nothing against Vancouver, but as it goes on, do you kind of and a buzz around the city a bit more? They just announced today all the event stuff from the World Cup. Glorious Sons is kicking it off. They have like 11 days of party. Well, you guys won't be involved in that, obviously, but does it feel like the buzz is growing a little bit?
Yeah, of course. I mean, as the teams start to lose out and it starts to get tighter, and the fans get more fans in the building every night and stuff, and like you said, they keep announcing stuff for the Memorial Cup, so it's starting to ramp up and starting to get pretty fun time of the year, and what more could you ask for?
I agree. It's been a great time for the fans, for the city. Hopefully you guys get full barns here Friday, Saturday, 7 o'clock, Sandman Center, games 1 and 2. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We have Tina Lange in the studio today. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tina Lange is a former longtime city councillor and also a former co-owner of the Plaza Hotel, which is the primary reason we have you here today. A few weeks ago, I talked to you about the history of the hotel because the hotel is now for sale, and you used to co-own it. And I thought, well, let's do a story on the quirks and the character of the hotel, and it was a really good interview. And we talked about the hotel. We did a feature in the paper, got lots of comments on it.
Oh, good.
And a lot of people had their own, I stayed
Stories?
there in 1945. It was great. But what jumped out at me was you mentioned there might be a ghost there.
There absolutely is a ghost.
So
it's not a might be.
Okay.
Chris. It's a absolutely.
Yeah, and the story you told me was quite interesting. So how about you elaborate?
Well, I stayed in the hotel several times all by myself. Around Christmas time, I would shut it down for a week, give all the staff a decent holiday, but you can't leave a building empty, so I'd stay there all by myself, which was a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Because, it's a big building.
Like The Shining, right?
Anybody could break in and there I'd be. Anyways, I'd been told by staff that had worked there for 30, 40 years that there was a ghost, a friendly ghost, but a ghost. And so I kind of went, yeah, whatever. But while I was there all by myself, twice, distinctly, I caught what seemed to be a female figure, you could see like a dress, going around a corner. Which, of course, threw me because I was in the building all by myself.
Allegedly.
And so I went around the corner and there was absolutely nobody.
Did you believe in ghosts prior to that?
Yes. I had a house in the West End that had a ghost.
Wow.
Do you have any suspicions about this ghost? Who was this person, the Plaza ghost that you saw?
Is there, I can't remember, is there like a story of who it might be? No?
No. Now, any hotel, of course, has people die in the building. That's just a given. And, perhaps it was somebody who died, or perhaps it was somebody who had just worked there. I mean, I worked with a woman who'd been there for 40 years, started as a teenager and worked right through till in her 60s.
Right.
So who knows? But that, when I started asking around, that was what people said. It was a female, long dress, friendly. But then I had two other instances which were more exciting, actually. Above the kitchen, you go up a few stairs to go out the back door onto the parking lot. There's a very heavy metal door there, and it's always kept locked. It's a storage room, but it's also got a large transformer in it, so you don't want staff in there helping themselves to extra silverware or fiddling with the transformer. So it's always locked. I was standing in the kitchen, so just down from there, and I saw the door open, just slowly opened up. So I thought, oh, who's in there? So I'm standing there watching to see who comes out, because the chef and the whatever were working away. And I stood there and watched it for a minute, and then it slowly clicked shut.
It
Now
opened
it
and
locks
closed.
when
Yeah.
it closes.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So it opened and closed on its own.
All by itself.
It's not like a little wind gust could have possibly.
No,
Yeah.
no. And it's a very heavy door, and there was the back door wasn't open. So I went and got the key because I thought, well, somebody's in there. Like, what's going on? And I didn't. I thought they saw I was there, perhaps, as the manager, and decided they'd just shut the door and stay in there until I left.
Yeah.
So I went and got the key, went in there, and there was nobody there.
Jeez. Yeah.
Did people, it got onto a website, I think, or became kind of a tourist attraction for people who would
Yes.
seek ghosts or
Yes.
ghost hunters?
Yes, we had people that are the paranormal
Yeah.
people that would come specifically book a room in the hotel. Often it was a group of them, like 4 or 5 or half a dozen or whatever, that would come in and they would spend the night in the hotel hoping to feel
Yeah.
the ghost, right?
Yeah.
And they'd wander around, and I didn't hear any great stories from them, but
Yeah.
they were excited to be there because they'd read about it.
What else makes that building special?
Oh, everything makes that building special. I mean, it's 95 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was built to be the center of everything in the interior.
Yeah.
And certainly it was the center for people who were in the ranching business. They came into town, and coming into town was often a big event because they were coming from, out in the country. They'd spend the night, they'd have dinner at the plaza. And there was, even when I was there was still a group of what I would call old ranchers that would come in and meet there because that was the place to be.
Well, it's right dead center of Kamloops, right?
Yeah.
You can't get more center than 4th and Victoria. It's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
And
yeah.
you found an old room, like an old stripper room that had a pole or something. What was
that was you guys were. Explain that. That's a neat story. Yeah.
Well, the back, which is now called the ballroom,
Yeah.
was a bar, very large bar, and they had exotic dancers, strippers, that would perform there. And there was a brass pole
Yeah.
that went up through the ceiling off of a stage. And here's something interesting about brass poles is you'd think that, it would be hard on your body because you'd be, moving like around brass pole, but in fact the pole turns. It's on a ball bearing
Oh, it
sort of
turns.
thing.
Oh.
And so,
Don't act surprised. You've probably had experience with that before.
I found that interesting when I found the pole in its special room in the basement. But so it went up through the ceiling, and when we did a renovation, we had to take that ceiling apart because we needed to put a lot of sound suppression in. And then we could see that it went right up to a room, one of the rooms above, so that the girls could actually get
just-
changed up there and
Like firemen.
Like firemen.
like
That's right.
firemen, yes,
Absolutely.
come down on the pole.
That is so cool. That is
Sadly,
neat.
somebody stole the pole while I was
Oh,
working
no.
there. One of my we had tradespeople in there a lot because we did a lot of renovations, and
Yeah.
that'd be a great thing to
It would
have
be
in
a
your.
fantastic thing to have. I put it right in my.
I'm coming to look at your
next to
house.
all the
Exactly.
BC
Don't
Lions stuff.
pretend again.
So okay, so the and then you mentioned also that it's the smallest elevator in the city,
Smallest,
and
slowest,
and you can jump
and
up and down.
oldest.
If you jump up and down, what happens?
Stops.
Right, and you've had to rescue many people from.
Yes, and of course it's small, so you get this quite a panicky feeling
yeah.
when you're in
Yes.
this.
Absolutely.
It's like a small closet,
Yes. Okay.
and then I'd have to run 5 flights of stairs to get to the top,
Right.
and go out onto the roof,
Right.
do a little room there, and start flipping switches and get it started again.
Wow.
Which leads us to the patio. The rooftop patio. That should be such a gem, shouldn't it? I
I
mean,
know it should be,
yeah.
but it never will be.
Just can't be because of all the equipment or.
Well, it's got all the mechanical equipment on it now, great big huge chillers and fans and furnaces and goodness knows what else up there.
There's probably building code issues too.
And there's
probably.
building code
Yeah.
issues. There's no water up there, and there's no washrooms up there.
Yeah.
But to stand up there, it's still glorious and the view is spectacular.
I think Councillor Dale Bass actually had a romantic dinner up there one time, didn't she?
She did.
Tina organized it for her and Alan.
Yeah.
There we go.
It was for their anniversary, and I can't remember why Dale wanted it up there, but I set it all up, and I had to pull up all these fake trees and whatnot to hide all the mechanicals. And we had music there for them, and
Nice.
special service and candles and the whole bit. It was
Wow.
lots of fun.
Did they stay there that night? Too personal?
Maybe they stayed in the honeymoon suite.
I think they
Yeah.
did, but I don't actually remember 100%.
Yes.
Well, the honeymoon suite's interesting
Yeah.
because that was renovated for Princess
Elizabeth in 51.
Elizabeth and Prince Philip.
No, it was
59?
59.
59, okay.
I think.
Yeah.
When she was queen.
Oh, and she was queen. So she came
Yes.
through town.
She
and
came through town, on the train. I remember going to see her as a little kid.
Really?
Yes. Believe it or not, I was around then.
Wow.
I was like 4 or something.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting on the curb and seeing her get off the
Wow.
But they never ended up staying.
They never ended up staying. They went straight through. They didn't spend overnight. So
But
that
they
was
were
a
going to
shame.
stay there had they stayed.
Yes, so they renovated the room, made it,
Yeah.
queenly, princessly. And maybe it was the time before that. I mean, I just remember the time she came
And she was
through.
51,
but
59 she came, and she was princess and then queen, so yeah.
it could have been
interesting.
when she was a
Yeah.
princess. I can't remember, but
That's very
it
cool.
was renovated specifically for her to stay.
And that's still the nicest room in the place, right?
It's beautiful, yeah. It sits right on the corner, so it's above,
4th and Victoria?
and 4th, and so you look down, and it's up high enough that you get a lovely view.
You stayed there, haven't you?
I
There's a
stayed.
story you told me you stayed there. What happened there?
All right, so this is university, and this is like 2009. I was living on Grandview Terrace, so like a few blocks from downtown. But I went downtown, I had too many drinks. I took myself to Boston Pizza, and by the time I got out, I'd had a lot of drinks, and instead of either getting a cab
Or just walking
home, I just booked a room at the Plaza. I woke up next to a rustic Italian pizza in the Plaza. Like 5 blocks from home, I could have just went home.
Well, you're shopping local, and that's good.
That's important. That's important.
Okay, can we, as we segue from the Plaza, you were a long-time city councillor. You dealt with many, many different characters, many different personalities, many conflicts. What do you make of what's going on right now at City Hall? And you can speak freely because you're not on council
That's
anymore.
right. I can say anything I want.
You follow it, obviously. What do you think's happening there?
Well, quite honestly, I'm just disappointed every week. I'm disappointed in the mayor, who I've known for a long time, and I really like Reid. He's a great kid. I call him a kid because he's younger than me. And I'm disappointed in council. I think it's the best council, quite honestly, we've ever had.
It's quite diverse, right?
It's fantastic, and they're working well together. But everybody's got to get their crap together and get along. And you can say, well, he did that and she did, but
It's like a kindergarten fight.
yes, I'm tired of it.
Now we know Reid's he's like a boxer and he's got this bullheaded mentality. We know council is pissed off at him as a group. What advice would you give each of them? You've been there. You've been in
Michelle Obama, they go low, we go high.
Right.
When I was on city council, then I would get these nasty comments online on Facebook, which, that's the way things go.
It is, yeah.
Rather than saying, hey, I don't agree with you, or you don't understand me, or here's my opinion, I would just hit the like button. That was the only option back then. It was either like or not. But
Right.
And so I just hit the like button, and I'd feel all the tension just go out of me. It's like, oh, there
you go.
Come back on that, buddy.
Because if you engage...
Never heard a response after that. It was because people didn't know what to do.
No. Yeah.
And so I really believe in that. I say it to my kids all the time. If you don't like something, kill them with kindness.
Right.
They've got to get over that, as you said, kindergarten mentality and get to know each other. Get along. And quite honestly, Reid has got to get past his ego.
Yeah, I think he's quite sensitive, and yeah, he does need to get past his ego. I think, is there a point though, and I think it's gone to the point, I thought, I've done a 180. A couple months ago I thought, they'll get past really early.
Yeah, me too.
But now I'm thinking it's almost not salvageable. Is there a point at which they can never do that, and what happens then? Have you ever been in a situation on council where whether a colleague or a mayor or another councillor, where it just wasn't workable, and what do you do then? Do you work in silos?
I've certainly worked with councillors who were ready to leave because they couldn't get along with people, couldn't get along with the mayor, and I, talked them off the ledge because there is a way to get along, and quitting doesn't do anybody any good.
Right.
Really, it would have to, I believe, come from the mayor to actually say, I think we need somebody to come here in and help us,
Like
a mediator of some sort.
Vince Reddy.
Somebody good.
Well, the mayor's the leader, and he should be doing that.
Yes.
I think, exactly.
And I think that would really help because they're like this. They're not going anywhere with it. And so at some point you have to say, okay, we're not getting along. Let's get some professional help.
Well, if this kid Reid asked you to come in and mediate, would you do it?
Sure.
There you go. See?
You must love this city. You saw the future queen when you were like 4. You grew up here. You owned you were on council. You own one of the most famous, iconic buildings, and you must love this city.
I love this city. Every day I'm grateful to live here. I was born in Victoria, but I moved here, I think, when I was 2 years old. so I consider myself a Kamloops girl.
Yeah.
And I think this city has everything that you could ever want in a city. And it's so beautiful. People can whine and snivel about drug use on the streets or whatever the heck, but we've got it all here, and we should be thankful for that.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. This was good.
It was good, wasn't it? Yeah, you're surprised, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I don't.
Yeah, what do you mean?
He might like history. This guy's he hates history.
No, he used to give me a hard time. It's a long story.
Yeah.
I was excited to have you on.
History is good, 'cause
He
they're
said I
not
wasn't
making
excited.
anymore.
No, he said I wasn't excited to have you on today, which was total BS.
No,
he
I
went on
said
this
you
rant
were
yesterday
like,
at work.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
I explained it off the top of the show. You can watch the top of the show. I was excited to have you on.
I was
He
more
said
excited.
wasn't. Yeah. Okay. Anything from you, Bennett? Do you have any comments?
Any questions?
Nothing
Nope.
from Bennett.
Greg the engineer? Bill?
Bill?
The Plazoo, that was what it was called.
The Plazoo.
Plazoo.
Oh.
You bet.
Yes. All right.
Complete with the strippers.
Yes, there you go.
All right. Thanks very much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks for having me.
Hi there, what can I get for you today?
Oh, do you mind if I ask you a question first?
Yeah?
What's the highlight of your day been so far?
I'm sorry?
What's the highlight of your day been so far?
Highlight of my day?
Yeah.
Oh, nothing. Just I've been working from 6 a.m.
Oh, you've been working since 6 a.m. Well, I hope you get off soon and you enjoy this beautiful Kamloops day. I'd like to make an announcement. The highlight of my day is right here, right now at McDonald's with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, I'd like to order, while I'm at it, shopping local, 2 large coffee, both with 2 cream.
Okay, is that everything for you?
Outside of wishing you a fantastic day and also letting people know about the Chicken Big Mac, that's it.
Oh, Chicken Big Mac. We haven't started the lunch menu yet. It's just the breakfast right now. So we only have the Mac Muffins, Mac Griddles, bagels, and hotcakes.
You know what? That's okay. Next time then. Next time. Just the coffees.
Just the coffees. Okay, thank you.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Thank you. Okay, let's wrap the show. 2 Blazers tickets to give away. You don't need them because, as per usual, Ivory Tower, loge seating.
Loge seating,
Bachelor
that's right.
Heights, Dream World House.
That's right.
Rich wife. Always just at the top looking down everywhere you go.
You got to watch your history. You got to learn from history. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a great game. Portland. Really good series.
Yeah, that was a fun show. That was a good show. I liked the show.
It was good.
Any comments from you?
No, just I think no. I'm just looking forward to this. I like Tina Lange's a very good speaker. She had a really good idea about mediation, and maybe she should step in there in all seriousness and, you know, give some spankings, get people straight and narrow at the city hall.
Well, she hates me now because you.
Well, no, she likes like me. She's a buff, history buff. That's all. That's all. So yeah.
386 subscribers as we push toward 400. We're gearing up for our charity pickleball special as well.
I think it's tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, August 2nd. Somewhere in town, we're trying to organize some kind of big thing.
Yeah, I just sent an email to the bosses. They signed off on it. Now I'm going to reach out to our sponsors, who are Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center, Steve Rogers. We can't do it without you. Co-title sponsor. We have Volkswagen of Kamloops, Terry Lowe. Thank you so much for coming on. This week you didn't get as much love because the Magic Mirror brought to you by Volkswagen. He's out of town. We had the Bennett Buggy.
Bennett Buggy's here. Yeah, the Bennett Buggy's here. That's
still,
right.
Still here. Great Depression.
The Great Depression.
The Bennett Buggies, right?
The Bennett Buggies. That was R.B. Bennett, the Prime Minister of Canada. He was kind of a mediocre just before King came in. Yeah.
And people couldn't operate their vehicles, so they're being towed by horses.
Yes. And they were blaming. That's when they all got. And they did they jumped on the train to go to Ottawa and demand that they do something about the economy.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's not how we feel about Bennett. He did a great job today.
Yeah.
As long as this recording worked. If it didn't, then he'll be actually. Gorge is probably hiring again. Okay. For
McDonald's.
Volkswagen. McDonald's. Can someone give me a ba-ba-ba?
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Thank you, Greg the engineer.
Engineer, yes.
Gord's, McDonald's, Volkswagen. For Christopher Folds, Greg the engineer, Bennett, Bill. I'm Marty. We'll see you last week.
Last week.